Live from the campus of DHS, it is Varsity Boys Baseball on the DAF Media Network. Hello, everyone. My name is Ted Brennan. Alongside me today is Peter McLean. Today we have two very evenly matched teams. Westhill coming in 12-7, 8-6 in the FCIAC, and Darien coming in 11-7, 9-4 in the FCIAC. Peter, you want to talk a little bit about more of each of these teams?
Yeah, like you said, they're both very evenly matched teams. Both pride themselves on great pitching. Uh, yeah, it's going to be a good game.
Of course, for Darien celebrating their senior day, as many teams do when they're facing off against West Hill.
Yeah, eight seniors on this Darien team. Uh, one of the older teams, but they also have a lot of sophomores and one freshman on the team.
Henry Williams taking the mound for Darien today. Of course, obviously, the big senior pitcher for this team, going to Duke. I mean, you name it. He's just been incredible for this team. His New Canaan game, a 2-hit, 1-run shutout.
Yeah, and then another three-hitter against Greenwich earlier in the year. So number 28, Shane Hackett, steps in to lead off this game for West Hill. High and away on pitch one, gets past Ben Olson behind the plate.
Ben Olson normally very good about stopping balls.
Yeah, a high pitch straight out of the gate from Henry would have been a hard catch for Ben.
Ball inside. That one is fouled back.
Henry looking to get a first out here, start ahead against this good West Hill team. So that one's fouled into the dirt, 2-2. Looking to start with a strikeout or get an out of some sort to start off this game. That'd be a big start for Henry. He's a pitcher that once he gets settled into a groove can really start dealing. We saw that in the New Canaan and Greenwich games where he threw complete games.
2-2 the count. And swinging on low, strike three.
Looks like a curveball that probably dipped right at the plate. It's a great pitch by Henry there. Starts ahead in the game, gets his first out.
That'll bring up number 19, Noah Skog, the right fielder.
Henry throws strike one here. Starts ahead against Noah Skoggs.
Noah Skog.
Skoggs, sorry.
And that one is lifted out. And a single for Noah Skog. And if you're West Hill, you definitely do not want to let Williams get into a groove because Williams will be dealing.
Yeah, once he settles in and starts dealing, it's really hard to get maybe 3 hits off of him, much less a run. So what's been big for teams when Henry's had rougher starts, if they started out of the gate early, put a few runs on the board in the first inning or first 2 innings and really taken the Darien team out of the game or killed their momentum just straight from the get-go.
That'll bring up number 5, TJ Wainwright, captain for this West Hill team. 0-1 the count. And looks like another curveball there for strike 2.
Henry's curveball is not slow whatsoever. Usually you say that's an off-speed pitch, and it's slower than his fastball, but it's a power curve. It's going hard into that plate. It's hard to pick up on.
And just high. That'll bring the count to 1-2. Henry Williams, a 3-year varsity athlete for Darien, and strike 3 on Wainwright.
Yeah, he didn't see too much action in the sophomore year. Got called up for the end of the FCIACs. Didn't end up doing too much, but played a huge role in their FCIAC championship run last year, and has just been the leader of this pitching staff this year, giving them a lot of quality starts and in the weeks where they've had 4 and sometimes 5 games, he's really been able to go the distance and help out this team and save their pitching staff, which isn't too deep this year.
Strike one is called on number 23, Montana Semmel. Semmel, excuse me, Montana Semmel. A lot of fun names on this team to pronounce today, as you'll hear along the way. Runner goes. Olsen throws.
Nice throw by Olsen, a bit high, but Alec was able to get a nice tag down just a bit late.
Alex Stevens, second baseman, was able to reel in that throw by Ben Olsen and was able to get down the tag, but
Now,
little late.
Yeah, Alec's been a big part of this team. They've struggled with depth at second base. Nick Conti was obviously on the team last year as a senior, and there was some uncertainty on who was going to play second base coming into the season. Mac McLaughlin, a senior, that's his position, and Alec won out the job, and he's been great for Darien since.
Mac McLaughlin, one of the seniors today, being honored. And strike two.
Henry looking to get out of this first inning just with allowing just 1 hit. He's ahead in the count with 2 outs. See what he can do. I'd expect an off-speed pitch here.
Skog at second. And strike three swinging. So the second base threat does not come to pass. And that'll get us to the bottom of the first. And Darien will have a chance to get some runs on the board. We'll be back in a moment. Back on the DAF Media Network, Varsity Boys Baseball, the Wave of Darien looking to put up some runs early in the game versus the Vikings of Westhill. Pitching today for the Vikings is number 26, James Gerard. Leading off for Darien, number 7, Mac McLean.
Yeah, one thing that's been big all season for Darien and its games has been scoring early and often. When they get down in the first inning, those games haven't usually resulted in wins, but when they start off hot, those are the games where we start seeing 10, 11, nothing games. So it's big for them to start early.
To the shortstop, and fires it over to the first for out number 1. That was TJ Wainwright over to the first baseman, number 18, Joe Gambino. That'll bring up number 11, second man in the order, Henry Williams.
Looking to get something going, help himself a bit.
Henry Williams, not only a great pitcher, also very, very dangerous with the bat. And almost looked like an off-speed that
Yeah, you got to be careful when you're pitching to the top of this Darien order. A lot of big bats. Mac, Henry, Liam, Carson are the first four for them, I think. And those are some big bats there. Got to be careful where you put pitches, and a mistake will definitely be capitalized on by the top of this order.
Williams back to Wainwright. And a little bit of a missed throw, but first baseman Gambino was able to recover for out number 2.
This has a chance to be a quick inning for Westhill.
That'll bring up number 32, Liam McLaughlin, first baseman today.
Yeah, McLaughlin, just a sophomore, has been big at first base for this team. They lost Harry Rayhill in a senior last year, who was big at first base for them. And McLaughlin stepped in and filled that role.
I believe Liam McLaughlin is a junior.
Oh, junior, sorry.
And that one is called ball 2. As you mentioned, Darien losing a lot of that championship team, as most of that team was seniors, not a single freshman or sophomore.
Lost the entire right side of the infield.
Strike 1.
Some of them are in attendance. I think Harry and Justin and Finn Batson, all from last year's team, have stopped by for senior day and to watch their team play.
And McLaughlin hits one to center field. And number 2, George Psychopatis, will retire the inning. After 1, no score going into the second. We'll take a quick break. Back on the DAF Media Network, where after 1, the score is 0-0. Up for the Up for the Vikings is number 14, Bobby Zamarzalak. It's a fun name to say.
This team has a lot of fun names to say.
And ball 1 is called, and pitching coach John Michelli is not happy about that call. He was jawing a little bit to the umpire.
Yeah, close calls. Michelli's one to always fight for his players and fight for calls he thinks is right. He's not a quiet coach, to put it nicely.
2-0 the count. Zamarzalak getting his first look at Williams here. Strike 1 is called.
Good pitch by Henry. Get a strike on the board.
2-1. And that one is just high.
Yeah, one thing Henry's been good at all year is keeping his team in the game. Darien struggled when they let up 2 or 3 runs in the first 3 innings. Henry's been the guy that started strong and kept the game 0-0 until Darien can get their bats going, which in some games have taken 3 or 4 innings.
So Marzalek helped out Williams there by swinging a low strike.
Yeah, makes the count 3-2. Payoff pitch here.
And strike 3 called as Marzalek goes down looking. And if you're Henry Williams, it's a big comeback out there.
Yeah, started down in 2 balls, 0 strikes, and then was able to rebound and get a K. Ball 1 to Joe Gambino, first baseman today. Henry, this is the second batter. He's fallen behind in the count to. Hopefully he can rebound again and get another strikeout. Low and away for ball 2.
Second battery's fallen behind 2-0. Gambino, a little unorthodox stance.
Oh,
whatever. If it works, it works.
He grounds out to Alex Stevens, second base.
And a good play there for the second out. That'll bring up number 7, Sammy Spingola.
Something might be wrong with Ben Olsen behind the plate as Scott comes out to talk to him. Maybe some sort of injury or something.
It is very humid out here today, very muggy.
Yeah, some rain, some showers earlier in the day. The forecast cleared up. There was question whether this game was going to be played. It's been nice, but the rain and the clouds really left a lot of humidity in the air. It's a hot day.
And Sammy Spingola will check swing, strike 1.
Henry finally getting ahead on a hitter this inning. Looking to get ahead, stay ahead, get out of this second inning. The ball's just a bit outside for Henry. Makes the count 1-1.
Hey, try some more, Sam. Let's go. Come on, CMA.
And strike 2.
Good pitch by Henry. Gets ahead 1-2 with 2 outs. Looking to just get out of the second inning. Give Darien another chance with the bats. This time is called.
4, 5, and 6 due up for Darien.
Quick first inning for Westhill on the mound. I don't think a batter faced more than 3 pitches. That one's low for ball 2. Trying to get a chase pitch there.
2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 out in the inning.
Second inning, too. A lot of 2s on the board.
Payoff pitch.
Just
And
a bit outside.
interesting strike zone early here by the umpire.
I mean, we don't have the best view, but that looked just on the black. Makes the count full. Payoff pitch here, 2 outs.
And that one is low for ball 4.
Henry's been throwing a lot of pitches to batters. You got to start thinking about his pitch count. Started behind on the first 2 batters of this inning. That's a 6-pitch walk there.
That'll bring up number 17, Matt O'Connor.
Got a runner on, maybe a little 2-out rally here for Westhill. Getting the board, like I've said, against Darien is big. Because if you get the bats going before they do, that really takes the momentum out of that bench.
O'Connor doing the catching today, falling behind 0-1. If you're Westhill, you're trying to score early and often against Darien to try and knock them out of this game as count goes to 0-2.
Henry's been a great pitcher in his time at Darien. His one weakness is he's very emotional, and sometimes that gets into him. So if he gets into a jam, he's composed to an extent. But if you can start getting Henry's pitch count up, and he gets tired, and you can really have a chance to blow this game wide open if you're Westhill. But it's got to start somewhere, and that's what they're looking to do this inning.
Ball 1. As you mentioned, Henry Williams shows a lot of emotion. If you've watched any of his basketball games this winter, he was one of the first guys to get fired up on the bench.
Yeah, he was hurt for most of that season. wrist issue, and that was really scary for the Williams family because in college sports, as the ball hits up the middle for the third out of the inning, and one injury to a wrist that could have killed his chances at going to Duke or his baseball career.
After the top of the second, we will go to the bottom of the second, where the score is still 0-0. Darien, 4, 5, and 6, due up. Back on the DAF Media Network, I'd like to remind everyone that the DAF Media Network is a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. Batting now for Darien, number 13, Carson Drake. He'll be DHing today. Drake will get his first look at Gerard, who had a very impressive first inning. Strike one called. Drake grounds one to third. They had him at first on a spinning throw by 28, Shane Hackett, but it bounced in to the first baseman, Gambino, and Gambino was unable to scoop it up. So that'll put Carson Drake Hello, everyone. Back on the DAF Media Network. We're so sorry for the technical difficulties that we've been having. We're finally back up.
Tireless efforts by Damian Andrew, working so hard at the computer to get us up and going again. For those who missed it, Darien was able to get out of that bases loaded jam in the top of the third. Mac McLean flew out to start the inning. That's the one out, and Henry Williams is now up to bat.
Henry Williams ties up the count at 1-1, ironically wearing number 11.
Yeah, so both teams have now had bases loaded opportunities. We're not really sure when we cut in and out. So Darien and Westhill have both had bases loaded opportunities. They both have not been able to do anything with them as Henry Williams flies out to center field. Liam McLaughlin will step into the plate with 2 outs and nobody on, trying to get something going for Darien, get a run on the board, give Henry Williams on the mound some run support.
Neither team really connecting well with the ball. Haven't really been finding any success besides the couple of walks. The only 2 hits in the game for West Hill has come from the same guy.
And only 1 hit for Darien all game, 1 error each by both teams. So pitchers duel.
That one is fouled down the line by McLaughlin.
First strike on Liam McLaughlin. 2 outs in the inning, just trying to get something going here for Darien, start a rally. Big hitter Carson Drake on deck.
And that one is bounced almost like 2 feet in front of the plate.
Not a great pitch at all. Makes this a 1-1 count. Liam had fouled one off. Scoreboard running on a bit of delay, I guess.
And that one is grounded to the side. Wainwright across his body will get the 3rd out of the inning.
Athletic play there by Wainwright.
So once again, we apologize for the technical difficulties in the top half of the 3rd for those of you who weren't here the entire time. Bases loaded situation did not come to pass for the Vikings as they were unable to score. And the bottom of the 3rd, a 1-2-3 inning for the Wave. So we'll take a quick break and come back with the top of the 4th in a minute.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Back here on the DAF Media Network. Hoping you all can hear me now.
Had some struggles with this broadcast. At least it's up and going in some form.
Number 18, Gambino, the first baseman, will come to the plate.
Both teams not been able to do too much.
Once again, we're sorry for the technical difficulties as that one is roped in the center field.
Yes. Good play by Aaron Sears out there. Able to keep the ball in front of him, not let it get by for extra bases.
As I was mentioning before, that rocket shot. Sorry for the technical difficulties. The stream has not really been going our way today. And we're just trying to find any sort of way to get this stream to you all today. So hopefully we are back on track. And knock on wood, we won't have any more disturbances.
Yeah, you got a great game developing here. Pitchers duel. Only 4 hits. Only 4 hits between each team. 1 error per team.
Each respective pitcher doing a very good job of pitching under pressure as
Ball hit to the gap. Nice play by Mac.
Mac McLean just a little slow. Tough ball there. I mean, it's hit deep into the hole.
He's playing at double play depth, trying to get something, turn a double play. Hits to the other side of him, has to move over. Tough play, just not able to make the throw across his body over to first.
Can't really fault him. It was a good throw, good effort.
Yeah, and great job by Liam McLaughlin over at first base to keep the ball in front of him, not let that get by, and possibly advance the runner from second to third.
That'll bring up number 17, the catcher O'Connor, Matt O'Connor, and that puts 2 men on base. Number 18, Joe Gambino, and number 7, Sammy Spingola.
One thing that's Westhill has been doing a good job of all day is playing some small ball. Very talented bunting team. They've put down some very, very nice bunts. Bad example there, but no play at third. Liam McLaughlin trying to make the throw over there.
Maybe he could have even gone for the tag, depending on how close he was. Tag the runner, because he was that was a very poorly executed bunt. He was right there.
Yeah.
Because from our angle, it did not look like he had a play at third.
Liam McLaughlin, you can't fault him. Trying to get a lead runner, that's a big momentum-shifting play, as the whole point of playing small ball is to advance runners, and so if you can get the lead runner, that's about as much as you can ask. Alex Stevens did a great job, textbook, coming over from second to cover first. Ball was kind of popped up over towards Liam McLaughlin, tried to make a play at third, just was a bit slow. Probably should have gone to first there, but trying to make something happen, can't blame him.
Westhill trying to go for the bunt again. George Sekapatis.
Looks like a safety squeeze
Runs hard to come by this game.
Yeah.
Westhill trying to spoil the senior day for Darien.
Cannot fault Westhill whatsoever for trying to play some small ball here. Get a runner in no matter how you can do it. Got corner infielders on the grass preparing for the bunt. James has moved back a bit at third.
2-1 the count here.
Ball is up for ball 3. Makes the count 3-1.
The Westhill bench, just as rowdy as the Darien bench would be.
Darien's got one of the rowdiest benches in all of FCIAC, maybe the state. Their energy usually isn't matched, but this Westhill team has been really loud today, and Darien's been fairly quiet. Usually they're chirping their minds off.
Big pitch here for each squad. And that'll be popped up out of play. A lucky break for Westhill, as that one could have popped right up into the first baseman's glove, Liam McLaughlin.
This is a big spot for Westhill here. Got bases loaded, no outs, just like Darien had in the other inning. You got to get something going. You got to get a hit or a deep fly ball or something that can drive in a run here.
And Williams will take a step off of the mound, which causes the Westhill bench to get even louder.
Yeah, I'm surprised on how quiet the Darien bench is as they're up there with that big strikeout.
A big strikeout there indeed. That'll bring up number 28, Shane Hackett. But on deck, number 19, Noah Skog. And if you remember, he got the first 2 hits off of Williams today.
Wasted no time in attacking a great pitcher.
Suicide squeeze, the flip, and he got him. But Ben Olsen is shaken up.
That is an incredible play by Henry Williams. The glove flip. Wow. That's the only way to describe that play. That's a collegiate level play right there.
Ben Olsen was a little shaken up after that. Maybe a spike to the calf, but he seems to be back in there behind the plate.
Still just an amazing play by Henry Williams.
Henry Williams, I mean, that was a slow dribbler.
Slow dribbler, that's a risky play. You got to have the guts to do a glove flip and get it home. That's a big play, though. That puts 2 outs, takes a squeeze out of the scenario here for Westhill. For a team that hasn't had too much success hitting the ball deep into the outfield, that's a big play right there.
Williams, a smart play, knowing he had no time to flip it over to his dominant hand and just let the ball slip out of his glove.
Usually a pitcher would be far more conservative there, make a turn, throw to first, get the sure out. But not Henry. He's fighting for his senior day. He wants a win, and he knows he needs to keep this game scoreless. So just an outstanding play by Henry. The glove flip, Ben being in a good position, takes a hit, but he'll do anything for the out. Saw a quick mound visit there by John Michelli, the pitching coach. Maybe calming Henry, or even he's one to plot something. Way to get an out. Maybe didn't like what he saw in the infield.
And that one to McLean. McLean.
Throw just a bit late. Drew Liam McLaughlin at first off the bag. That's a tough play for McLean. That's the second hard ground ball hit over to him on his opposite side.
So that'll give Westhill a 1-0 lead, and that'll bring TJ Wainwright up to the plate. But yeah, I mean, 2 very, very tough balls for McLean. Deep in the hole. He's doing everything that he could in that.
You saw McLean quickly look to second, maybe try to get a force. They had a force there, just saw that he didn't have time. Did his best to get the ball over, but throwing across your body going the opposite direction, that's a very, very hard play to make for a shortstop. Good effort at it, but Westhill gets the run across, takes a 1-0 lead here.
0-2. It was just an out. I mean, it was still a very, very good play. Just a tough to pull him off of the bag like that.
Yeah.
That one is popped behind the plate.
A surprisingly low-scoring game here. This is the third or fourth chance between both teams that they've had bases loaded or second and third. Surprised to only see 1 run. Really goes to show the composure and just how good the pitchers in this game are, being able to stay composed when they're in a jam.
Strike 3 swinging on TJ Wainwright. And
big strikeout, only letting up 1 run there.
Big strikeout. A tough top of the 4th for the Wave, and they'll be looking to get that 1 run back, as it is only a 1-run game. We'll be back in a moment with the bottom of the 4th. back on the DAF Media Network, which is a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation.
Yeah, as Carson Drake leads off the inning here for Darien, looking to get that one run that was let up last inning back, trying to start something.
Ball one. Carson Drake, the lone freshman on this team.
Yeah, made the varsity team right out of the gate, starting off the season as the only freshman on the team. It's a young Darien team this year. 1 freshman, 2 sophomores now. It's a lot of youth and only 8 seniors.
Here, Darien, developing your younger guys is definitely something you want to have.
Yeah, and Darien's got a great freshman and JV program led by great coaches.
Drake will pop that one up the center, drifting, but able to make the catch is George Psychopatis for out number 1. That'll bring up number 2, Devin Kippett, or DK2 as they call him on the bench. If you didn't hear the cheers earlier, as I don't think you would because of our technical difficulties, they say, hey, we want some DQ or DK2.
Yeah, and he's got it on the back of his cleats too, and by far the best cleats on the team. He's got DK2 sewn in onto the back of those. A nice little touch.
And that one is bounced in for ball 2.
For how good this Westhill pitcher's been, he's had some balls that have bounced, one before the plate or right around the plate area. A bit wild, especially low, but he's been able to get the job done.
So, yeah, Gerard is just having a great outing as that one finds the strike zone. 2-1 as we get a great look there from our camera 1 operator, Nolan Burke.
Yeah, been a bit wild, but he's got a 1-hitter so far, so not going to complain if you're Westhill.
And that one is ball 3. While we have a quick little break, I'm going to give a quick shout out to our production crew, Nolan Burke, camera 1, Matthew Burke, our director today, Peter McLean, my color commentator, Damian Andrew doing everything he can to make this stream possible with all our technical difficulties, and I'm, of course, Ted Brennan. That'll bounce in for ball 4, and that'll put Kippett on first, and Glenn Fay will come up to the plate.
And now you got to think with one of Darien's fastest runners, definitely in the top 5 on the team, on first. The wild pitches that we were seeing from James Gerard, the pitcher, as Devin Kippett takes off there. Close play at second. Got under the tag, though, called safe. With the wild pitches, this could turn into something that could be a lot of stolen bases from a very fast Darien team. Glenn Fay, steps into the box. 1 ball in the first pitch that Devin was able to steal second on. 1-0 count, 1 out.
Glenn Fay will hit that one in the center. And that one gets past the center fielder, Psychopatis. And Devin Kippett will come in.
And Coach Scott is going to hold him at third.
Glenn Fay, a single went right past Psychopatis. So I'm not sure if they'll call that an error, which I believe they did.
I think it's going to be ruled officially as a single and then an error that advanced Devin to third. Glenn, and was able to score Devin from third to tie this game up at 1 with only 1 out, and that leaves Glenn, another fast player, at third. Maybe you see Coach try to do a safety or a suicide squeeze with James Lewis up at bat. Only 1 out gives you some chances to play small ball here, drive in a runner through a bunt or a sac fly.
Glenn Fay, only 90 feet away, and if you're Coach Scott, I mean, I might try safety squeeze, suicide squeeze, just to say, hey, look,
yeah,
you tried to do it, we can do it as well.
I think you gotta try a safety squeeze here. Glenn's on third in a low-scoring ball game. We're already in the bottom of the 4th here. Not much time left to get another run across, and clearly Westhill is the same idea as they're playing all 4 infielders on the grass.
And that one is bounced in. As Peter mentioned, all 4 infielders on the grass, and the shortstop and the second baseman. Not just like
Yeah,
not just their
not
toes
just the
on the
corners.
grass.
They are fully on the grass.
And it looks like first baseman and third, not just their tippy toes on the grass, but they are fully committed on the grass.
Which is a interesting decision because it stops the chance for a safety squeeze. But if James hits a blooper on even the back of the infield, they're not going to be able to get to that, or it's going to be a very difficult play. So that scores a run. So they're taking a huge risk by bringing in the middle infielders. Usually here you'll see the corner infielders come in. That's a normal strategy to prevent a safety squeeze. But even the middle infielders, I'm surprised they're going that far.
3-0 count will get Lewis another ball, and that'll put him at first with only one out. Darien trying to capitalize on this, and Ben Olsen will come to the plate.
And expect James to run on the first pitch. And it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here, as I think that's going to be James Gerard's day on the hill.
And that will be it for Gerard. You know, he had a good outing coming in to the top of into the bottom of the fourth, but sometimes, you know, you get tired and the wheels start to come off.
Give him,
and you know, the wheels didn't fully come off. Just a couple balls here and there.
Give him credit. He was kind of wild throughout the game, but this is a Darien team that is, when they get hitting, they're really good. It's senior day. You got to think, especially the seniors have a little extra in them, trying to pull off a win on their last, or what could be their last home game here at Darien High School. That's a great start by James Gerard. Only allowing 2 hits. Didn't get too much help from his defense, which is one of the reasons for the runs. But just a great start from James Gerard. The stat line might not show it, but being able to get Westhill into a tie game in the bottom of the fourth, that's big for them.
Darien and Westhill both, of course, fighting for position in a close FCIAC matchup, as position can play everything in an FCIAC playoff game.
Yeah, especially, not only does it determine home or away for the first round, but in the second and third rounds, there is an early game and a late game, and the highest seed remaining actually gets to decide which game they want. So seeding playing a big effect all the way through FCIACs, not just deciding whether you have a first round at home or have to travel somewhere. And Darien has played very well in defending their home turf. So a win here to help with their seeding could be big for them. And you got to think, this might not be the last they see of this Westhill team.
Both teams very, very close in rankings and in records. So Peter, you're right. If they continue on the tracks they're on now, it could be, you know, maybe one of those 4 or 5 matchups, or
or even maybe in the state tournament. Darien has actually drawn an FCIAC team the past 2 or 3 years. They have been in the state tournament. So this probably, I'd say, almost very likely will not be the last time these two teams see each other.
And that one is outside. And the new pitcher coming in for James Gerard is number 13, Evan Campbell. Evan Campbell. We got a good look at him during his warm-ups, and he's got a heck of a fastball.
So there goes James. They're actually going to throw.
Lewis.
That's surprising.
That's very surprising, and I guess that might have caught Coach Scott off guard.
Yeah, Glenn wasn't too far down the line, and I guess that's why they throw. But usually, in a first and third scenario with 1 or 0 outs, you don't see a catcher throw, because what a lot of high school teams will do on that throw, they'll send the runner from third and try to get another run across. Very, very interesting that they would throw down there, but James gets in under the tag.
Ben Olsen tried to call timeout, not granted, and that'll go into strike 1. Peter, you were mentioning that many teams would send that runner home from third. If anything, on a throw, you might expect them to do a little bit of trickery, throw to the shortstop to try to catch him off a guard.
Teams have done that before, or the catcher pop up like he's going to throw and just whip it really hard back to the pitcher to try to draw that runner down the line. And that might have been why Glenn's so hesitant, because it is really shocking to see a team actually throw down, especially with under 2 outs in this scenario, in such a close 1-1 game.
If anything, that could go down as, it's going to go down as either very, very smart play, or it's going to go down as very, very costly.
And also, if you whip that, if you have a bad throw by your catcher and that goes into the outfield, not only is that a run, if that goes in the outfield, James is standing up on third. So that's usually a play that you don't see made. I'm shocked.
It's been an interesting day, to say the least.
Yeah, a lot of opportunities for both teams.
And that one will hit Ben Olsen, and he'll get a free base on a 3-2 count.
That'll load the bases. You got to think Evan Campbell is wishing he had that pitch back right about now. So it'll bring up Aaron Sears with 1 out, and then the top of the order.
Ben Olsen has taken a beating today. A
Yep.
little bit of an early kind of injury, and then the
Was
play
slid
at the
in-
plate.
was slid into.
Now hit by a pitch, but he remains in the game. This kid is tough as nails.
This Darien team is tough as nails. They've been hit by so many baseballs this year, and there's been countless injuries, and yet they always seem to stay in the game and keep fighting. Not a team to give up and lie down easily.
0-1 the count with only 1 out. Bases loaded for the junior center fielder Aaron Sears. And Sears will hit that to third, and look at him at the plate.
Interesting move by the catcher to put a tag on him, as it was a force there. A rule a lot of people don't know: if you attempt to tag a runner on a force and the ball comes out, the runner's actually safe. So usually you'll just see a catcher step on it, and he could have tried to turn it with Aaron.
Might have not known either where he was standing or
Yeah,
the outs.
I guess rather be safe than sorry with him right there.
So that'll still load the bases with 2 outs, as that'll bring the top of the order Mac McLean up. I believe going into their away games last week, Mac McLean had reached base 9 straight games.
Yeah, he also had a hit streak going earlier in the season. Not sure what happened to that, but he's been big getting on for Darien this year. One of the senior captains of this team, one of the 3. He's really developed as a player over the last few years.
Mac McLean doing a very good job of not only knocking in runners, but also getting on base, becoming a runner. I believe he leads the team in runs.
I wouldn't doubt that whatsoever.
And that one is high, 1-1. If you're Mac McLean, you definitely want to get at least 1 run in, and to bring up Henry Williams.
Yeah, Mac McLean has been really good at driving the ball into the outfield and getting hits. He had a huge triple against New Canaan that drove in there 1 run. So he checks his swing there, disgusted with his swing by his facial expression after that.
They definitely tried to hold up, and now McLean is down 1-2.
Yeah, it's big if they can get another run across here. The one's big to tie this game up, but 2 runs in this inning would really help him out.
The pitch, and that's a dribbler, and the Westhill coaching staff.
Not liking that the pitcher tried to take that one himself. Scaring them. And
So after the bases loaded, Darien will only get 1 run before the bases were even loaded. And going into the top of the 5th, that'll bring our score to 1-1 on senior day for the Darien Blue Wave. We'll be back in a moment. See you in a minute. back on the DAF Media Network. And as I mentioned before, Peter, today is senior day. 8 seniors.
Culmination of their Darien baseball career.
8 seniors on this team. I will name them by name here. Mac McLaughlin, Devin Kippett, Mac McLean, excuse me, Henry Williams, Nicky Briganti, Glenn Fay, Jack Gordon, and James Lewis.
They've had a very successful career here at Darien High School. So far, they're the only class in Darien baseball history to win 2 FCIAC championships in their time at the high school. Just been great. Henry will be going to Duke. They've just been doing great things for this Darien baseball program, help it grow into the powerhouse it has slowly turned into. They hadn't been successful in many FCIAC championships before, and then just 2 or 3 years ago they won their first, and then the second one last year. It's just been a big part of this growing this Darien high school program. A lot of credit goes to the seniors, but also Coach Scott and just turning this program around.
Strike 1 on number 23, Montana Semmel. And as you mentioned, Peter, this is one of the better senior classes they've had in a couple of years, although last year's senior class was very good. Headlined by Justin Jordan, who's up at Sacred Heart.
He's doing big things up there.
Arthur Xanthos over behind the backstop, who's up at post playing some ball.
Got a few ex-Darien baseball players in attendance today.
As that one is lifted out. And almost a miscommunication between Devin Kippett and Alex Stevens, but Alex Stevens makes the play to get the first out. As you were mentioning, some ex-players.
Arthur Xanthos, Justin Vandegraff, Finn Batson, Harry Rahill, and Max Gasvoda all seem to be in attendance, all who played big parts in last year's FCIAC championship title, and some even in the championship title 2 years ago, when they beat Trumbull in the FCIAC championship at what was Harvard Yard to win that.
Harbor Yard is now being used as an outdoor concert stadium. Very weird. So,
City
but
of Bridgeport decided the lease was up on the Bluefish, and they decided not to renew it. There was talk of the Bluefish moving to South Carolina, actually.
They actually ended up moving to High Point, North Carolina.
High Point, North Carolina.
So they are now the High Point something or others.
Yeah.
And strike 2 on number 14,
Now
Bobby Zamarzalek, and he's actually going to Maryland to play baseball.
There's talk of him going in the first 2 rounds, actually, of the MLB draft, and he's only a high schooler. So he will definitely have a decision if he goes that high, whether to go to Maryland or enter his Major League Baseball career.
2-2 the count, and that's always a tough decision for high schoolers to make because you got to weigh the options. If you go straight pro, you get paid, but you're going to be in the developmental league,
Minor leagues,
a little longer as you are still very, very fresh coming off a high school career. And
you're without a college diploma, so should you get hurt or you always have the option of going back to college, but
that's definitely something you have to weigh as. But even if you're going to college, as Zamarzalek draws the walk, and that'll bring up Gambino.
The risk of injury
at college as well, because you could be going to college. I mean, you could go Duke like Henry Williams. God forbid he has an injury that could possibly end a career, and you just don't want to see that happen. Number 11, Tyler Luders will check in for Zamarzalek as a pinch runner.
As we were saying a bit earlier, the Bluefish moved to High Point, leaving the closest minor league team to Darien being the Connecticut Tigers of the Detroit Tigers, which actually play in the stadium where Darien played on Wednesday against Norwich Free Academy, Senator Dodd Stadium up in Norwich. They lost that game 8-5. Pitching was Trace Florio and Tim Bellingham in that game.
I believe Norwich is about 2.5 hours away, but That's actually the second closest team, as the Hartford Yard Goats, even though they're
Yeah.
not playing in Hartford as of right now because Dunkin' Donuts Stadium is still being renovated. But the Yard
Yeah.
Goats are the AA affiliate of the Colorado Rockies. I mean, some of
Yeah.
these minor league team names are frankly
Yeah.
confusing.
I know out in Staten Island there is the
Staten Island Yankees.
there's also the Birmingham Rumble Ponies, I believe, which is the
Binghamton
Mets
Rumble
double
Ponies.
or AAA affiliate down there.
It's
Uh,
just some
you love
Montgomery Biscuits.
love seeing all the minor league logos. There's the Richmond Flying Squirrels. All these team names are just so funny and creative. I feel bad for the players who have to actually put on uniforms.
How about the Lug Nuts?
it's they have a lot of fun with naming minor league teams.
But you know, someday it'll be all worth it, as hopefully they can climb their way up the ladder and make it to the major leagues. The count goes to 3-0 on number 18, Joe Gambino, as we sort of went off on a tangent. But we are back in the game.
Yeah, and last thing about the minor leagues, a few years ago, a pitcher, Devin Burke, out of Darien, was drafted by the Rockies. He actually did play for the Hartford Yard Goats for a period of time. Last I checked, which was a few years ago, he was out in California playing for the Mosquito Peanuts, which I think was the single or one below that for the Colorado Rockies. So
Single A or low A ball? Low A ball?
yeah, successful pitchers coming out of Darien High School. Henry going to Duke, and then Devin Burke going to being drafted into the majors.
Henry Williams throws his second straight walk to bring up number 7. Number 7, Sammy Spingola.
And you got to think someone might be being sent down to the bullpen, maybe James Lewis or Mac McLean, to warm up, as Henry might be tiring. And no fault to him. His pitch count it's got to be getting up there, as he's thrown a lot of pitches today. Westhill has been able to work the count against him very well.
Chad Knight from Staples. If you didn't watch that broadcast, he threw a 3-hit shutout. There are rumblings of him also going in the first round. Very, very low chance, but he's got a better chance of going second or third, as Liam McLaughlin. I've been pronouncing his name wrong all day, so Liam McLaughlin will retire. Number 7, Spingola, for the second out of the inning.
So I just checked. Devin Burke actually made it all the way up to AAA in the Colorado Rockies organization before calling his playing career quits, and he's actually now a assistant baseball coach at Middlebury College up north.
Middlebury College, for those of you who don't know, is one of my color commentators, John Humphreys' alma mater. He's the all-time leading scorer at Middlebury College for basketball. So next winter, hopefully we'll have him on again, as that one is fouled back. 1-1. Definitely small world around Darien, or just even this FCIAC community.
And the FCIAC has slowly developed more and more into a baseball conference. I feel like it'll always be trumped by lacrosse and football, but baseball's really emerged. They have a lot of players going to college. Obviously the headliners like Chad Knight and Henry going to Duke, but even some smaller players are going up to college.
James Lewis going to play at Finlandia, D3 school.
I believe Devin Kippett's going to, he might be playing at New York Institute of Technology. There's a drop third strike that Liam can't hold on to. There's going to be a play at the...
You know, maybe a bad decision there.
Yeah.
To throw it down, because it looked like he was pretty close in there, and that'll put another run up for the Vikings, as the Vikings take a 2-1 lead in the top of the 5th.
Ben Olsen made a bit of a wide throw out to Liam, who was not able to hold on to the ball. And Liam could not spin it coming back to home. So another run for Westhill, a run which has been hard to come by. That's going to be Henry's day, as James Lewis will be coming into the game from third base.
They Might do a double switch where Williams will come in and slide in that shortstop.
Uh,
Maybe.
no, it looks like that's going to be Henry's day. Does not look like he'll be re-entering the game. Oh, I believe he's actually changing his cleats, and then will most likely re-enter the game at shortstop, and Mac McLean will move over to third base.
That's always interesting, changing your cleats. I mean, it might be
See,
better traction as if
well,
you're playing shortstop, everyday cleats.
also, the mound here at Darien High School is dirt and the field is turf, and they're actually not permitted to wear metal spikes on the turf here at Darien High School. It's an insurance issue, actually. So Henry was pitching in his metals to get traction on the mound, and now is forced to change into his rubbers to go, or turf shoes to play shortstop here.
Always a wise decision.
Yeah.
But Henry Williams, you know, not a bad day on the rubber today for him. You know, he just kind of cuff couple at, oh gosh, a tough couple of at-bats. Not a cuff tuffle. My goodness.
Only let up 5 hits. Was pretty high into the pitch count and the walk number, but and then 2 errors behind him or 3 errors made by his defense. But by all means, not a bad day whatsoever for Henry. Only allowing 2 runs as Henry comes out to play what I assume will be shortstop, and Mac McLean will most likely move over to third base. And
looks like that's going to happen. For those of you who didn't know, there was a Phillies scout in attendance in the Staples game, and they were scouting Henry Williams, not as a pitching, but as a shortstop to see his athleticism. So Henry Williams, multi-versatile athlete.
Yeah. As we were saying, Henry's pitch count got all the way up to 97
in 5
innings.
5 2/3 work.
So not a bad day, but the pitch count started to become an issue. Obviously not wanting him to do anything too crazy with his arm, throwing about 19 pitches an inning over his 5 innings of work. You'd much rather pull him here rather than push his arm and have him for FCIAC. Make sure to keep him healthy as he is such a big player for this Darien team.
That'll put James Lewis on the mound. As I mentioned before, he's playing at Finlandia, which I believe is a Lutheran school.
Yeah, D3. He'll be playing baseball up there. It is a delayed steal with a runner on third. This will be interesting as he is now going home, and the play at the plate.
And the delayed steal pays off for Westhill.
A smart play, to say the least, by the coaches there to send the runner and make James run at him. But a controversial call. The Darien fans over here do not agree with that call.
They are probably still upset about that call in the early innings.
2 very, 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 very controversial calls at the plate when Devin was thrown out, which a lot of people disagreed with. Looked like Keith got under the tag, and then there they said he did get under the tag. Personally, I thought Ben was able to get the tag before he got, but not according to the umpire.
Once again, the umpire has the best view in the game, and we are limited by a almost kind of side view.
Yeah, we are obstructed, so maybe they saw something we did not, but it is now 3-1 Westhill. Darien's got to move past this. 0-2 count, 2 outs.
We sadly are not ESPN, and we do not have bird's eye views of the plate.
So that is up for ball 1. Darien has faced controversy after controversy, and it looks like it has taken a toll on the bench as they are unusually quiet. Some pitch calls that have been interesting.
That one is hit to McLean. McLean, this time is on target.
Makes the throw for the 3rd out of the inning.
So after a controversial couple of plays, Westhill takes the 3-1 lead going into the bottom of the 5th. We'll see you in a minute. Back on the DAF Media Network, which is a joint venture between the Darien Foundation and the Darien Athletic Foundation. I'm going to give a quick shout out to our production crew once again. Matthew Burke, our director today. Nolan Burke, our camera one operator. Damien Andrew, overseeing this entire operation, trying to bring you this broadcast without any more technical difficulties. Peter McLean, my color commentator. And once again, I'm Ted Brennan as strike one called on Henry Williams.
Pitch that looked a bit low from our angle, but probably was in there. It's Henry trying to get something going, get a run on the board for Darien.
Fouled back.
And this game has not been without chances for Darien. Time after time, we have seen them bases loaded, second and third, leaving just so many runners on base. And not just Darien, Westhill has done it too. It's a big reason why this is only a 3-1 game. This could very easily have been a 6-3 or a 5-3 game.
Of course, could have been a 3-2 game as Glenn Fay didn't go home on that throw down to second, as Williams will lift that one in between right and center, and they almost collide. George Sekapatis calls off his right fielder, but it looked like they were going to collide out there, but out number one. So that'll bring up number 32, the first baseman, Liam McLaughlin.
Yeah, Liam McLaughlin, big filling in at first base for Darien this year. Like I said earlier, trying to do something with the bat here, get something going. Trying to get something started here. Down 0-1 in the count already. Now 0-2. Trying to put a ball in play somewhere, get on base for Carson Drake and let him drive him into scoring position or home. Trying to make this a 3-2 game and be able to get this eventually into a 3-3 game.
One of the things, as the count goes to 1-2, one of the things about this Darien team is that if they do start a rally, it's late in the game with 6 outs, 5 outs, or even 2 outs left in the game. And that's always not the way you want to go.
Every game we've seemed to announce as that'll get down for Liam's, for a base hit for Liam. Every game we seem to announce, we always seem to be saying, and come the 5th or 6th inning, well, they need to get something going now or they're not going to be able to get this game. They only have 6 outs, then it's 5 outs, then it's 4 outs. Darien has been in these 3-1, 3-2 games that have been close, or 2-0 against McMahon, where they just haven't been able to get the bats going late into the game in the deep innings and the clutch spots where it matters. They really need to get something going here. Big spot for Carson. If he could put one out to the pavilion again, that would be great, but just a base hit here. Maybe get something going for Devin Kippett, who's on deck. Just base hits will eventually amount to runs, which is what Darien needs right now.
And strike one, 1-1 the count. You know, Peter, we might be a bad luck charm because they're 1 for about 4.
I think they were 1-3 or
1-3.
1-4 when we broadcast. Of course, the Ridgefield game, just an amazing game that went into 9 innings.
10 innings, I believe.
10 innings, sorry.
Still, it was a very sloppy game.
Yeah, 1 on an error by the Ridgefield third baseman. Much like this game, 5 errors in this game and only 8 hits so far between both teams. Just trying to get something going here with Carson as that ball is in the dirt for ball 2.
The thing about these Westhill pitchers is that they're throwing them into the dirt, and some of them just aren't even close.
Yeah, we had one pitch bounce before the plate earlier, which could be big for Darien in the late innings if they have a chance with a runner on second, maybe swipe a base on third there.
3-2 the count.
But all credit to the catcher, number 17, Matt O'Connor, I believe.
Matt O'Connor, yeah. Doing a great job behind the plate today.
Yeah, he's blocked countless balls from these Westhill pitchers.
Peter, what a beautiful day it turned out to be.
Yeah, no, we were worried about the game getting canceled throughout the day or not being able to broadcast.
Especially us.
Yeah.
And we didn't need any more problems than we
Yeah.
had, because God forbid it rained then.
But it cleared up nicely, and it's just been a beautiful day at Darien High School.
And the
As
runner's
Liam
going.
tries to run, no one is there.
But a good backup almost.
Almost went into center field as the runners were split and no one covered the steal. Maybe some miscommunication up in the middle infield.
We definitely, we just complimented Matt O'Connor, and, you know, maybe just a little bit of miscommunication, but
He did his job there, though. Took the high pitch, popped up, threw the ball down, just threw it to nobody as the shortstop had to run over and stop the ball from going into center field.
so Carson Drake draws the walk, and that'll bring up number 2, DK2, Devin Kiffett.
This is a big spot right here. 1 out. So that's up for ball 1. A chance, a ball into the outfield, maybe out in right field in the gap. That could even score Liam from second.
Darien starting the DK chant. Hey, we want some DK.
As this team, you can see them slowly coming to life on the bench. More and more energy as this is a chance for Darien, one of their many in this game, with Carson Drake on first, Liam McLaughlin on second, Devin up to the plate, and the senior captain Glenn Fay on deck.
There's a lot of space in between each side of the infield.
Yeah, put a ball in play as this could be 2 here. Devin,
And
as he dropped, I believe the shortstop actually dropped the ball on the flip, leading to Carson Drake being able to be safe at second. That loads the bases on what could have been a double play right there for Westhill.
would have gotten them out of the inning, but Wainwright just tried to flip it.
Not able to turn the double play. This will bring up Glenn Fay with the bases loaded, 1 out, senior captain, as we said earlier. And what could be his last game at Darien High School. Big spot.
And the umpire
Says
got him going as
Says Glenn went on that check swing.
that was a nice curveball, though.
Yeah.
Very nice curveball from the pitcher, Evan Campbell. You know, we haven't really talked about him much, but up until this inning, in his relief inning, he was setting them down.
He was solid. He got them out of a jam. So that is outside and low. He's been big for them. Just hit a little trouble here. Arguably should be out of this inning anyways, though.
That play at first was going to be close if he was able to turn it.
Yeah, Devin, one of the faster guys on the teams. But even 2 outs here in first and third is a much different scenario.
Off of Campbell's glove, and he'll flip it over the first. And Darien inches 1 run closer.
They are going to be able to get Glenn out at first. Barely, though. Hit off the glove of
Campbell.
Campbell. That makes it 3-2 with 2 outs in second and third for James Lewis. And you got to think, with Devin on second, one of the faster players, a deep ball to the fence that can drop in, you got to think that scores 2 here, as they'll be running on contact with 2 outs. So big spot here for James Lewis.
And
that was a swing for the fences.
He's trying to get all of that one, and that one looked low. But Peter, this is very reminiscent of that Ridgefield game. James Lewis, of course, was the hero getting that ball in play, but 2 outs needing a clutch at bat.
This could be big here. Darien been able to match Westhill every time they put a spot up on the board.
And that one will be hit to third, and a nice play there from the third baseman, Shane Hackett.
Darien gets 1, though, inching closer.
Inching closer, and James Lewis will try to hold on to this, not let it get any more out of hand as we go to the top of the 6th. 3-2 Westhill. Darien running out of outs to work with. We'll be back in a moment.
If you live in Darien, most likely you've benefited from the Darien Foundation. Since our founding in 1998, we've provided more than $4 million in grants to the Darien Emergency Services, public schools, and community organizations.
My husband and I are so happy to be raising our 4 young children in Darien. Over the years, I have admired the projects that the Darien Foundation has supported, and I'm excited to be a member of the board helping to further support the Foundation's mission. Kids' eyes light up when they talk about learning and eating in the edible garden at Tokenique School. And as a family, we've had so much fun watching varsity field hockey and lacrosse games under the Darien High School stadium lights. It certainly gives us peace of mind to know that if and when the next storm hits town, the Darien Library will
Back here with the top of the 6th, and Shane Hackett will come to the plate. He made the inning-ending play.
Big inning here for Darien if they can put a 0 spot up on the board.
And as we speak of him, he'll get a single into right field.
1 pitch, 1 single. James just trying to hold Westhill at bay, keep Darien within 1 run. Give them a chance in their half of the 6th to maybe put 1 more on.
I believe Nate Hadlow is over
Yeah, and
with the ex-senior crew, freshman in college, is number 19, Noah Skog,
And
come to the plate.
I could be mistaken, but I think I saw Jake Geddes over there. He was a senior 2 years ago. I believe he's up at Dickinson now playing baseball. I believe he has come back. And it's nice that all these boys come back to support the Darien team year after year, even when they're 2 years out of high school. It's nice to show that support for your old team. And it's always great seeing them reunite with the coaches after the game.
As that one is flown out to center, Sears under it, and a great camera angle there from our camera 1 operator, Nolan Burke.
So that'll be 1 out in the inning. Keeps the runner on first.
That'll bring up number 5, TJ Wainwright. I was about to say Adam Wainwright, but Adam Wainwright is a pitcher for the Cardinals.
Yeah, it's an old pitcher for the Cardinals there. It's
Definitely.
played in the last 2 Cardinals World Series wins.
But TJ Wainwright is here now.
No relation to our knowledge.
And Henry Williams with the flip. And inning-ending double play by Henry Williams. Ironic, though, as Wainwright was unable to turn his double play.
6-4-3 Williams to Smith, or to, Stevens to McLaughlin over at first to get out of that inning. That's a big 0 spot as that keeps this as a 1-run game.
Darien going into the bottom of the 6th. 6 outs to work with, 2 runs for the win. Let's see if they can get it, or if Westhill will continue to lead the game. We'll see in a moment.
We are back here in the bottom of the 6th. Nicky Berganti substituting for Ben Olson, who, to our knowledge, will re-enter catching the game.
I believe Nicky's not a catcher.
Nicky was a catcher.
Keyword is was.
For most of his career, he probably still has the talent to go catch, but Ben has caught almost every inning this season for this Darien team. Actually, I think Nicky did do some catching early in the season. I know Mac McLean really enjoys pitching to him, as they've known each other for a while.
Nicky Briganti.
That's going to get down in left field, and Nicky will be able to leg that out for a double. And that is a big double to start off this inning.
Incredible pinch hit. Nicky Briganti roped one in the left field.
He has struggled with his hitting all year, but on his senior day in what could be his last game at Darien High School on this field, he comes up clutch with a big double to start off the bottom of the 6th, batting for Ben Olson, coming off cold off the bench. That takes a lot of skill to be able to pull something like that off.
Center fielder Aaron Sears will be up. I just want to mention something real quick. Because we don't have our first base camera, left field, we were unable to get left field. But in left field, it was an incredible effort from number 7, Sammy Spingola. I mean, he threw his entire body into the fence, and that's always a dangerous play.
Yeah.
So we cannot discredit that, but you know, it just
not able to make the play, not his fault whatsoever. Just put a ball in the right spot for Nicky, and with his speed, able to lug that out for a double. And with a Westhill team that has been kind of wild with their pitching, you can see how closely the second base and shortstop are holding Nicky onto the bag, as he is one of, if not the fastest player on this team. So you got to think on a wild pitch, he's up at third.
With the wild pitches, Nicky Briganti comes out swinging, maybe thinking that's the best pitch he's going to see in his at-bat.
Yeah, Nicky's been one of the players that has really loaded up and tried to drive the ball all year. Hasn't been the best strategy for him, as he's struggled sometimes with his hitting, but there it pays off as he's able to rope out a double.
And Darien's going to play a little of a small ball. No one at first. Head first slide. And he's in there. Aaron Sears, a great play. A little bit of a miscommunication, though, from the pitcher.
And now first and third for Darien with no outs. Top of the order with Mac McLean here. A big spot for Darien on their senior day.
That was a tough play there. Evan Campbell and first baseman Joe Gambino. Just a little miscommunication there, and that's all it takes. A little bit of a miscommunication, as no one knew who was really going to get the ball. I believe Campbell thought he was going to get the ball all the way, but never really called him off.
Both charged to try to come get the ball, leaving the first base bag open. The second baseman almost got over there, as they will run, and they'll throw down. That's surprising again.
The second time, you know, maybe the second time around, you'd think Coach Scott would be like, all right, if we're going to send him, we'll throw.
Yeah, but especially with Nicky, who's got speed, but I guess you can't fault Coach Scott there. Now you've got you got second and third with nobody out. You don't want to risk sending Nicky when it's very likely that you will have a better chance to get him across.
And that'll be strike one on Mac McLean. Strike two?
1-1, sorry, as the pitch that Aaron stole on.
You know,
but on that bunt, a great play by Aaron, knowing he had to get to first, so the head first slide, as that second baseman almost did get over and made that play. But Aaron able to get in there and then, of course, steal second. And
McLean will hit that back to the pitcher. He'll check the runner at third, and that's a tough out for Darien after a huge rally starter. But
and those are the kind of outs that you just don't want as a baseball team. A ground out back, because like if Mac flies out into even left field, it's what we call a productive out. A productive out that can score a runner from third.
And they're gonna intentionally walk Williams and load the bases for the junior Liam McLaughlin, and that could come back to bite Westhill, as they're not going to take the chance and let Williams hit, as he's a dangerous hitter.
Reminiscent of the FCIAC champion. Nicky's going to come home.
And
head first slide.
He's safe at the plate, and that'll tie the game. As we've mentioned in all game, wild pitches.
Coming back to bite Westhill with one of the fastest players on third base in Nicky Briganti. Able to come in, head first slide, right across the plate. I think that's the first play at home that has been a for sure safe call, as we have had some questionable calls at home.
And honestly, just a smart play by Nikki to go
Yeah.
head first, because when you're going head first, your entire body is flat.
Yeah.
When you're sliding, when
You
you're
have to
sliding
pop
feet
up
first,
with the back.
your back is popped up.
And big spot here for Liam, as
And
another ball is
pass
going to get
ball.
by.
Here
Aaron's
comes
going to try to get
Sears.
in, and
Sears will get in.
another run for Darien, and they will jump out to a 4-3 lead on back-to-back wild pitches by
Evan Campbell.
Evan Campbell on the mound. That's big for Darien, being able to put up 2-spot and still only 1 out, and Henry Williams on third. And you got to think, intentional walking him there could come back to bite them, as if they had not, and those 2 pitches had gone to Henry, there would be no one on base now. But as the shortstop, T.J. Wainwright, calms down his pitcher on the mound, as he let Darien back into this game. They had a rally going, and that bench, the whole bench is standing up. They're all cheering. Back to the Darien bench we have come to know.
And that one is just outside. Campbell, not Campbell. That's partially my bad.
Cannot find the strike zone.
Can't find the strike zone. And
A rough patch here for Westhill. We'll see how they respond.
Coach
3-0.
DJ Mulvaney is on a knee, and Liam McLaughlin will hit one into the gap, and he'll settle in with a single, which will give Darien a 5-3 lead.
As Henry Williams was able to score from third base there. And that intentional walk, as you were saying, does come back to bite them.
You never want to walk someone just to give it up. And that'll bring in Nicky Briganti, who will
Andre
pinch
Briganti.
Oh, excuse me. Andre Briganti will come in and pinch run for Liam McLaughlin.
As you got to think, Darien's trying to pile onto this lead. Big spot for the freshman Carson Drake. And that intentional walk is reminiscent of the FCIAC championship 3 years ago against Trumbull, where Trumbull intentionally walked, I forget which junior or senior, to load the bases for Sean O'Malley, the freshman at the time, who eventually flew out or hit a home run or something.
I believe he hit a home run.
He hit a home run to right field, which was able to lift Darien over Trumbull in the FCIAC championship game. As it looks like we're going to have a pitching change here. And that's Joseph Campbell's...
Evan Campbell.
Evan Campbell,
That's
sorry.
Evan Campbell's day. And, a tough spot to come into. And, just some tough pitches here and there. So, that'll bring in number 4, I believe. Number 4, Christian Rubino Chuckis. My goodness, that's a
Quite
mouthful.
the name. And with Campbell pitching, the bottom of the 5th, his first relief inning, was a very well-pitched inning as Chuckis throws a ball through behind the catcher, a pass ball and a warm-up pitch. And you got to think, this Westhill team, that is a huge momentum shift.
We're both having trouble speaking today, folks. Sorry about that.
Coming off their 2-run 5th inning, where they were able to take a 3-2 lead, they had all the momentum, and it looked like Darien might be down and out in the game. But Campbell came in, got into some trouble, let up 1 run in the bottom of the 4th, or bottom of the 5th, excuse me, and 1 run or 3 runs in the top of the 5th, with only 1 out to go, or with only 1 out down.
And,
big inning for Darien.
the entire inning started off on that first pitch, swinging from Nicky Briganti, getting a double, and that was huge for the Wave.
And then the 2 wild pitches by Campbell. A risky play by either coach or maybe that was a decision by the runner, Aaron and Nicky, both to go there. As even when Aaron scored, there was some hesitation about halfway down the line by Aaron, still able to get in. But that's a big spot. Able to put up a 3 spot so far in the 5th inning to take a 5-3 lead.
6th inning.
6th inning, excuse me.
And for Darien, just this entire inning has just gone their way. They've finally found a formula that works for them. So, Carson Drake, the freshman, will come to the plate. Number 13, trying to move Andre Briganti over. Andre Briganti taking a sizable lead.
In the Danbury game, Carson almost hit the pavilion out in right center field. Maybe try to put another one over the fence. As
And Andre
a late
Briganti
steal.
will be tagged out.
Interesting call, as a lot of Darien fans over here do not think they were able to get down the tag on Andre. A late steal decision by Andre Briganti, and he will be thrown out.
It
at
looked like
secondary.
he might have tried to avoid the tag. A little bit of a stand-up swim move, as they call it in the MLB.
Hard view here from as the second baseman was blocking where the tag was. The ump had a perfect view to see that, so you got to think he saw something he could not see. And that's a big out for Westhill.
Definitely takes the air out of Darien's rally balloon here.
The pitching change, which led some time, that Darien kind of calmed down in. Then that, and the Darien bench has been reduced to almost silence.
As Carson Drake will draw the walk with 2 outs.
Bring up Devin Kippett.
So Devin Kippett will come to the plate. Unable to get a hit in this game today so far, I believe.
Yeah, his senior day, maybe what could be his last game here, trying to do something special. Maybe drive Carson somewhere. Get something pile onto this 3-run inning. Really take this game out and expand their lead.
In the games we've called, he's been getting good wood on the bat. Sometimes isn't falling for him, or maybe he's just not having a great day at the plate. But
all year, Devin's been walked, or he's made great contact. If you look at his balls in play, he's got one of the highest on the team. It's just going directly at players on the other team. He's been making great contact, just struggled to find a gap in the field somewhere. But contact is always a positive thing, as he rips that one out to left field, and that'll actually
speak of the devil, I mean, holy.
Get in, advance Carson to second base, and give them first and third with 2 outs as Glenn Fay steps in.
That's always nice on your senior day, getting a hit, just something to remember the game by.
Yeah.
And, I mean, hell, speak of the devil, we were just speaking about it, and, finally finds a hole.
A gap, and like I was saying, eventually if you can put metal on the ball enough, eventually it's going to drop in, as it does there for Devin.
If you're Glenn Fay, you're going to try to put it to that left side of the infield. A lot of room.
You got the shortstop, TJ Wainwright, holding on Carson at second, and the third baseman covering pretty close to the line over there. So there's a pretty big hole up the 6th hole, somewhere where Glenn could pull the ball and drive a ball all the way into right field.
Just as we were talking about it, this time just hit to Wainwright, and Wainwright will end the inning. A good hustle play there by Glenn Fay. He's unable to beat it out, but we're just, we're pretty much just Nostradamus out here, just calling it where we're seeing it. But, after 6, Darien,
3 outs
off
away.
of a 3-run inning, will lead 5-3. 3 outs left to work with for Westhill, as number 14, Bobby Zamarzalak, the Maryland commit, will try to get some men on. We'll take a quick break and be back in a moment. As I mentioned before, batting first for the Vikings in this inning is number 23, Montana Semmel. Montana Semmel batting, not the Maryland commit of Bobby Zamarzalak. He'll be on deck, hoping that Semmel can get on base for him.
Westhill down to their last 3 outs, trying to get something going here early. Be able to use their outs for more of a small ball approach rather than early in the inning.
Umpire calls it inside for ball 1.
James Lewis trying to finish this game off on his senior day, get away with a win, which always takes away the damper that a loss would put on the senior day festivities after the game today. As that is called a strike, makes the count 1-1. Is James Lewis trying to stay ahead in the count here. That one is hit back to Henry at short. Henry Williams will throw over to Liam McLaughlin for the first out of the inning. Westhill is now down to their final 2 outs here in the game. Down 2 with 2 outs to go. Really need to get something going here and early so they can get back into this game and force Darien to put another run on in the bottom of the 7th. That is not the way you want to have to start the inning, though.
Out of this entire year, Bobby Zamarzalak is possibly up there for my favorite name to call, along with Derek Zibikowski.
Zibikowski, quite.
Zibikowski is also spelled with an S, but it's pronounced Zibikowski. It's S-Z.
Really, quite a lot of interesting names
On
in
this
the
Westhill.
and in the FCIAC too. As Darien has one of the most normal per se last names.
The count evens to 1-1, but Bobby Zamarzalak going to Maryland to play college ball.
If he decides to not go, there is talk of him being drafted in the 1st or 2nd round of the MLB draft out of high school. So that will put a tough decision for him, whether to go to Maryland or go to the major leagues, which is, some would say, oh, take the money, but that is a more complex decision than just money.
Take the money or get a college education, because let's say, and strike 3 called on Zamarzalak.
Zamarzalak did not like that call. He is shaking his head, walking back to the dugout.
Zamarzalak might have gotten a call a little earlier, as one was a little bit inside, or was called a little bit inside. But as I was mentioning, you know, always a tough decision to make. Because God forbid you have an injury in college, or God forbid you have an injury in the MLB. If you don't have that college degree
to fall back on. Yeah.
That's what lacrosse legend Case Mathias did. He actually went 4 years at Duke, got a business degree, got drafted in the MLL, and then ended up playing for a couple years, but then has ended up working on Wall Street as
That
number
ball is
18
rocked to Glenn
Gambino.
Fay to
And Glenn
end
Fay
the
will
game.
end the game. So
And that is
the last out was Joe Gambino flying out to Glenn Fay, and that'll end the game. So Darien will win 5-3 in 7 innings. And Peter, just what a comeback win for the Wave here.
that bottom of the 6th inning, Darien's last at bat in this game, although they would have had a chance in the 7th, was just so big for them as they were able to put a 3 spot on the board, take a 2-run lead, and just James Lewis able to close it out 1-2-3 in the top of the 7th against the talented part of the Westhill order with Zamarzalak, who's probably the best hitter on the Westhill team. Great jobs by James Lewis as he forced the fly out to Glenn Fay to end the game.
And it was tough to see there, but Joe Gambino going over to James Lewis, just congratulating him on a tough last inning, because Gambino, he smoked that one out. And just a great game by each pitcher. Just a great game by each pitcher,
Yeah.
Peter. Henry Williams only going about 5 2/3, but still, he had a great outing. And then Lewis coming in relief. And then for the Westhill Vikings, James Gerard, he had a Gerard had a good outing, and that'll do it. But we might
We will be filming
we
the
we
Senior
will be
Day
filming
festivities.
Senior Day festivities as Darien will get the win on their Senior Day 5-3. And once again, I'm gonna say the seniors just quickly for the viewers: Mac McLaughlin, Devin Kippett, Mac McLean, Henry Williams, Nicky Briganti, Glenn Fay, Jack Gordon, and James Lewis. One more quick shout out to our production crew: Nolan Burke, our camera one operator, Matthew Burke, our director, Peter McLean, my color commentator. I'm Ted Brennan, but we're not signing off just quite yet as we're going to be showing Senior Day festivities.
senior baseball players and their parents on the third base side.
No one in here? No one in here? Okay. Alright, I'm still on home plate, but I'm
Darien
Bye, TJ.
staff at home plate. And everybody else, come on into the ball field and check things out down on the first base side here on the on-deck circle.
Do I see, like, why? Is he doing something? Oh, I see him right now. Oh. Oh, with the third base side. Hey, can you get them coming to you, Nolan? Nolan? Wait, your camera's frozen. Is it really? Are you kidding me? Alright, get back. Alright, oh my god, his camera's frozen. You're just gonna have to focus here. I can still kind of get a shot, but yeah, it's frozen. It's not moving.
I had a note here.
No. Ted, I'm PTZing right now, so I had the whole third baseline. Oh, you're back. You're back, Lauren. You're back. You're kind of staticky, but you're kind of back. Now you're frozen again. Yeah, you had a bit of movement, and then it froze you. Now you're frozen. Yeah, you're frozen. Hey, Ted. Ted. Nolan. Tell one of you or Ted just to tell Damien that I'm going to PTZ it because the camera's frozen and that you're trying to fix it right now. So why don't you go do that, have Ted try and fix it and operate it, okay? Just run out and tell him. Because he's going to start saying names soon, so you got to run out and tell him. Okay, I will tell you, but it's not. Tell him I'm going to... Nolan. I'm PTZing it. Tell him that I'm PTZing it. Yeah, Nolan, tell him I'm PTZing it. Behind the plate. Yeah, behind the plate. You're still frozen. Also, you center field? Okay. Yes.
Welcome everybody to the Senior Day festivities for the Darien baseball program. Coming off a big win. We're going to get right into this and get things started.
I'm on Damien right now.
Matt, are you PTZing it?
Nikki Briganti
Yeah, here I am. I'm right here. Alright.
is a two-year varsity performer, seeing time as a go-to pinch runner in his junior season and designated hitter this season. Nikki played a key role in the Waves' march to the FCIAC title in 2018 as he stole third base and scored the game-winning run in the quarterfinal game versus Trumbull. This season, Nikki has appeared in every game and has enjoyed multi-hit performances and wins over Greenwich and Trinity Catholic. Next year, Nikki will attend the University of Connecticut and is accompanied today by his parents, Penny and Nick.
Just follow it.
And Nikki's baseball skill is shadowed only by his landscaping expertise. Nikki Briganti.
I'm coming to him hugging Alice
Jack Gordon. Jack is another two-year varsity player, seeing time mainly in center field, making 8 starts during the 2019 season and providing the Wave with a steady presence in the outfield. This season, Jack collected a hit and scored 2 runs in the decisive victory at Trinity Catholic. Next year, Jack will attend Gettysburg College in Pennsylvania, and he is joined today by his mother, Tricia. Rarely will you hear Jack. Instead, you will hear him called by the name Dink. Jack Gordon. Devin Kippen. Devin is a 2-year varsity performer, seeing time in the infield, behind the plate, and in the outfield. This season, Devin has been the Waves' everyday right fielder and has solidified the offense by hitting in the middle of the lineup. Devin has enjoyed a successful senior campaign, amassing a .235 average on 10 hits with 7 RBI and 6 runs scored heading into today's win over Westhill. Next year, Devin will attend the New York Institute of Technology on an academic scholarship and is accompanied today by his parents, Carla and Tommy. And Devin will end his career with more times hit by a player than anyone in FCIAC history. Devin Kippett, everybody. James Lewis. James has been a 2-year varsity player, making an impact as one of the Waves' starting pitchers and third baseman. James has had some dominant performances on the mound in 2019, including throwing a 2-hitter versus Trumbull and a shutout against Stamford. He has also become a mainstay in the Blue Wave lineup, collecting multi-hit games against Stamford, Ridgefield, and NFA, contributing to a .375 average with 3 doubles, 8 runs scored. Next year, James will continue his career on the diamond at Finlandia University in Michigan, where he will compete for the Lions baseball program. He is joined today by his mother, Dorothy, and grandmother, Dot. And James is affectionately known as my guy to every player on the team. James Lewis. Mac McLaughlin. Mac is a first-year varsity player, providing much-needed depth to the Waves' middle infield. A consummate teammate and tireless worker, Mac has seen action in 2 games this year at second base, which includes going 2 for 2 with 2 RBI in the Waves' win over Trinity Catholic. Next year, Mac will head to college at the University of Miami in Ohio and is joined today by his parents, Denise and Martin. Mac is, by the way, the best blitzball player in the state of Connecticut, although Glenn would disagree. Glenn Fay, one of the captains. Glenn is another 2-year varsity performer, with this season patrolling the outfield as the regular left fielder. Glenn has found success in the middle of the order with multi-hit efforts in wins over Guilford, Greenwich, Trinity, Wilton, Stamford, and Ridgefield. Heading into today's win over Westhill, Glenn boasted a .319 average with 2 doubles, 8 RBI, and 7 runs scored. Next year, Glenn will head down south to attend Clemson University and is joined by his parents today, Jen and Kevin. And Glenn, from what I am told, has gone from saying 3 words in a game to 3 words in a second. Glenn Fay, everybody. Mac McLean. Mac is a 2-year varsity player, playing a key role in the Waves' success over the past 2 seasons. Mac spent the 2018 campaign as the everyday third baseman and had a clutch 2-out, 2 RBI hit in the 8th inning of that FCIAC championship win over Staples. This season, Mac has spent time at third, short, and second base, and has become one of the top hitters in the FCIAC, hitting .415 in league play with 9 RBI and 12 runs scored. He has also entered the starting rotation for the Wave, earning wins over Guilford and league rivals Ward and Trinity Catholic. Next year, Mac will attend the University of Virginia, and today is accompanied by his parents Sue and John. Mac McLean. has sacrificed his arm to play as a receiver during practice all year. Mac McLean. And our final senior and captain this afternoon, Henry Williams. Henry has been a 3-year varsity starter at shortstop as well as the Waves ace on the mound since his sophomore season. The hard-throwing right-hander has turned in multiple big-game performances during his career, most notably beating Staples in the FCIAC quarterfinals in 2017 and one-hitting Trumbull in the 2018 FCIAC quarters in the Waves' march to a title. This season, Henry has enjoyed even more success on the mound with shutout wins over Greenwich and arch rival New Canaan. Not only a pitcher, Henry has had a successful senior campaign at the plate, hitting .316 in league play with 2 doubles and 8 RBI. Next year, Henry will head to Durham, North Carolina, where he will compete for Duke University's baseball program. He is joined today by his mother, Jen, and his father, Dave. Henry Williams. And again, quick fun fact, in case you don't know, Henry is going to Duke. The 2019 Darien Blue Wave Baseball Seniors, recognized on Senior Day here at the ballpark.
Go back. Go back to the, follow, see if Nolan can follow, or,
Nolan, can you follow Henry at all?
is it too far?
Zoom in on him.
It's kind of tough.
Try to stop moving.
So they're going to get a tape shot between the 2 pillars, so if you want to take center field camera and kind of position it to the... Damien, get out of the way! Alright, I'm just going to do a quick sign off. Thank you everyone for watching a DAF media production. Darien Blue Wave celebrating the seniors of the baseball team. So thank you everyone thank you everyone for watching today. I'm Ted Brennan signing off from the DAF Media Network. Congratulations, seniors.